Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to the last show before the weekend's action is here. It's, of course, the Friday night press conference reaction show. I'm, of course, as always, your host, Martin the Governor Lambert, and I am currently enjoying, where's the bottle gone? A lovely bottle. You won't be able to see the label because it's a green-yellow label, and the green screen doesn't like it. And I can't even try and shield it. But it's a Cantonar's collar. It's a green and yellow label, so maybe we're doing a justice to it by not showing it to the town fans. But 6.1% UR IPA. It's certainly a strong drop. Certainly you can get those at away day beers. I'll be enjoying that this evening. My first beer back. And I'm looking forward to tonight's show. As I say, it's the last show ahead of the weekend's action. It's a game that all town fans are relishing, looking forward to, one way or another, and holding their breath, as I said on last night's show. Well, that's what it feels like. And I'll be looking forward to getting the thoughts of the Hard Truth duo. They, of course, always bring the truth, whether we like to hear it or whether we don't. So I'm looking forward to hearing what they think Paul Cook was meaning with his comments today. Looking forward to hearing what they've got to say ahead of the weekend's action. Before we kick into that, there are a few sort of parish notices, if you were. Of course, first of all, a huge thank you to all of our Ko-Fi members, of which Richard Moss is one as well. True backbone of the Talking Town community. You won't see Matt Phillips' name there. Oh, sorry. It's that tickle. Come back. But no, huge. I see that face, Matt. But a huge thank you to every single person on this list. If you wish to join them on the list, go through our Ko-Fi, little as £5 a month. You can cancel it whenever you like. Right, that's that done. We had a boxing show at lunchtime, speaking of Matthew Phillips. I'll bring him in a second. We can discuss that. Thumbs up from the community on that one. I thoroughly enjoyed talking boxing. It's not often enough I get the chance to discuss boxing. But before we bring in the two lads, first of all, last 5 games against Shrewsbury now on the screen for you, just to whet the appetite. We haven't lost to Shrewsbury in 5. Our last one was a 0-0 on the 4th of May 2021. Classic cookie 0-0, that one. 21st of November, we won 2-1, 3-0, 3-3, and 3-0. So we are yet to get beaten by Shrewsbury. Make of that what you will. Live chat is kicking off. Love to see a live chat. We've got Brian Down in the room, the GOAT, Colin Plum in the room, probably sat at home in his dressing gown. You know the GOAT, he's getting ready for tomorrow. Manicure, pedicure, the lot. The good doctor is in the room. He says, evening, Matt Stannard. Evening, Gov. Will you be putting the microphone hoodie on the site? Yes. Do you know what? I've had a number of inquiries about that. So thank you for raising that. This is available on the website. I've just taken it offline completely by accident because Mark Tuxford also was asking about this. And I was like, no. It's on the website. Went on there and it's not. So the team are working hard. I say the team. I mean the wife. She's downstairs. Working hard to get this back online as quickly as we possibly can. Everyone knows wives are the true backbone and true members of any good team. Isn't that right? I'll bring the next man in. He'll know all about it. Danny Graham, yes or no? They were the days, weren't they?
Say that again.
Or intro. Danny Graham, yes or no? That's the question we're asking people on
Would
the
Danny
intro.
Graham be a good son?
Those were the days, weren't they?
He didn't even do the season at Sunderland, did he? Did he retire in the winter transfer window or something?
It would have been a classic town signing. Matt, obviously, I was with you this afternoon with a fantastic boxing show. From your perspective, you're a boxing aficionado. How did you think it went?
Yeah, great. Really enjoyed it. And I hope everyone who tuned in got a bit of insight into Deontay and Tyson, what might happen. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Hopefully we can do a few more of those around the big fights because it was good fun.
Absolutely. Links now in the chat for that. Your good lady wife, I mentioned wives at the start of the show there. Your good wife ran the virtual marathon, albeit. How did that go? First time I've spoken to you really on air since then. How did that all go?
Yeah, so hello. The medal is here. The medal
Oh!
Hold on a second. Let's bring it over.
Love a good medal. We're very proud of you, Lizzie. Very well done. Very well done. We're very proud of you.
She did it in so you've got, like I say, you've got 24 hours to do the 26.2 miles. So She did it in about 8 hours.
Wow.
And you get the legit medal that you get if you finish in London.
Ooh.
Thanks, everybody.
Melt that down. Worth a few quid, Matt.
Yeah, there you go.
Get that the divorce settlement.
In Browl on the back. Look at that, you see. Yeah, happy days. So yeah, very good.
Absolutely,
Achievement.
congratulations! Yes, a huge achievement. As I say, we're very proud of you on the community on the platform.
Big
Well
thanks
done,
to
Lizzie.
everyone in the community that puts some money towards the Sarcoma UK. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's a good thing, as I said, pushing the human body to the level that it can go is amazing. We've got Matt Stannard, well done, Lizzie, Colin the Goat, Lizzie, love from me, the Goat. So there we go. Getting a lot.
Up to that.
Everyone loves love. Everyone loves love from the Goat, don't they? Let's be brutally honest. Right, let's bring in our third member. He is the reigning, undisputed trash talker, the hard truth, Richard Moss. Is reigning undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Richard Moss. How you doing, Rich?
Good evening. Can I just give a massive shout out to Big Dunk? He's just messaged me. He's not feeling too well, so he's not going to make the game tomorrow. So I collected these today for some spot prizes somewhere. These will probably be in Martin's back bedroom, Matt, for about the next 2 years. So we've got FIFA on the PS5, and then this is a beautiful. This is the 1962. This won't fit you, Matt, because it's 2XL.
Well,
it's a 10.
Fuck off, Matthew. That's near of my size.
Big
shout out to Duncan.
Is that a legit shirt you can buy then, is it?
Yeah, get it from Planet Blue.
Absolutely.
Champions of England, 60th anniversary on it.
Wow.
Huge shout out
in the market for that one, surely.
A huge shout out to Big Dunk. I want to show you something. You mentioned spot prizes. I've got literally there's a whole pack full of here spot prizes. But I want to show you one particular spot prize. I've just dropped it. Do excuse me a moment. This is how long I keep spot prizes for, and I must really get better. This was going to be a spot prize.
Jack Lancaster.
Yep. It doesn't even play for us anymore. It doesn't even play for us. So I've now got a Jack Lancaster prospect poster in town colours, and I've got fuck all to do with it. That's how long I keep these spot prizes for. So you mentioned
he actually scored the last goal against Shrewsbury, didn't he, Matt? Do you remember that last season when we beat him 2-1 and he scored that header?
That was terrible, that game, wasn't it? Awful.
I love
that was shit.
I love it, but imagine being told you're winning that in the prediction league. It's like it doesn't even play for us anymore. Sums it up a little bit, that doesn't it?
To get him to sign it for us, that would raise the value, wouldn't it?
That would. Oh, good idea. Crunching those people. Talking of raising. Well, there you go. Hopefully he's not as happy next week and he's not scoring any winning goals next week. Talking of raising profiles and things like that, ladies and gentlemen, the community of Talking Town, I will come to you cap in hand once again because we are all in the running for best EFL podcast at the FCAs, but I need your help again.
There's more.
Yes, there's more. There's an FSA Awards, which are now open. You can head to the link I will now provide in the chat. Vote for us. We are question 6. Head here and nominate us for Club Podcast. Imagine the lemon meltdown if Talking Town was voted best club podcast. I can taste the lemonade from here. That's in question 6. So if you're like us, I want to stick it to the man. Come and vote for us in question 6.
I was thinking, Martin and Rich, this time next week, if we are successful in London, you'll have the trophy up on the show.
Can you believe it? We're not going to be. Let's be brutally honest, because there's a lot of big hitters in there. But I'm going to relish the opportunity to go. The link's in the chat now. Question 6. They use SurveyMonkey the same way I use it Prediction League. See, all good people use that. And but yeah, go and vote for us. Nominate us certainly, and we'll see how well we get on. There are 3 squares to nominate, so really, in theory, we all should get in for this one. You know, if you're one of those people that likes to be fair, you can vote for all 3 Ipswich Town podcasts. Not that there are other town podcasts. Not that there are. But if there were...
Why do you want to do that?
I just put Talking Town 3 times.
They wouldn't be saying the same on their platform, would they? Oh, vote for Talking Town.
No, but I'm trying to...
on the same table.
I'm trying to be like a politician here and appeal to the middle ground. You know, if you're one of these undecided voters, you can vote for all three of us. Colin Plant, 100% Neil, welcome back. Mike, Dr. Zach King, excellent, Gov. These things become real collectible, like stamps printed out. Well, no, I'm not quite sure Jack Lancaster post is going to be a collectible stamp, but in a town shirt that was a terrible team, but Curtis's artwork's pretty good. You know, I mean, I've got another one here to give away soon, which I absolutely love and adore. But I've had that a while as well, to be fair. I won't tell you. Now? I won't tell you where the Bart. I won't tell you where the Bart one's gone.
I don't want to know.
No, we can get to that's gone.
That's between me and the King Bart himself. But yes, no. The Ben Moore derby next week, gentlemen. Are you looking forward to it?
The Ben Moore. Matt's not going to be there, is he?
Well, no, because that's.
I've used my contacts to get tickets, but yeah, you're all going.
Yes, I'm going. Cambridge. Yeah, I am.
Nice.
But before we get to Cambridge, we have got a game tomorrow, home to Shrewsbury. You saw the last 5 there. Before I get into any questions from the press conference, the last 5 on the screen, we've not lost to Shrewsbury in those 5. Before we get into the press conference, I'll ask you again at the end of the show, but at the start of the show, how are you both feeling ahead of tomorrow? I said the town fan base are holding their collective breaths. Matthew Phillips, how are you feeling?
Well, I said on Sunday, I was like, I can guarantee you will probably win. I think we will. Probably quite comfortably. I think back to that game in August 2019. That was when Flynn scored that really good header. I think KVY scored in that game. And that really looked like we were going to be champions in that season, didn't it? From that game.
Yeah.
But like head and shoulders above anything the League One could offer. But so Shrewsbury, good. Is it Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury? What do you say? Shrew?
I struggle with Edris El Mizani, so don't bring up.
Yeah, you're probably not the best one. Andre
Dozel.
No. I would expect Ipswich to have quite a comfortable win. Shrewsbury, no great shakes. I would say probably, again, maybe we'll be looking at a 2 or 3-0.
Okay. Richard Moss, in your lovely away days. Actually, that reminds me. I've got the link. I've done all the hard work for you. Just at some point, click the link, head to Google and give Josh and One Away Days Beer a 5-star review. Just say how wonderful they are, how you came across.
Isn't it?
It is. Exactly. It's why we need to do it. Come across it, how great they were when you found them on Talking Town. You tried their range, and it's just amazing. Rich, over to you.
His birthday today. It's Josh's birthday today, so happy birthday to Josh. And he's rubbing shoulders with Peter Schmeichel tonight.
Where is he? Denmark?
He's in Leicester. Peter Schmeichel's got a new book out and he's doing an evening, and Josh just took him some Schmeich ale. I see on social media he's got 3 beers for him, so hopefully there'll be a picture later. Not tomorrow. Why are we worried about Shrewsbury? I'm not holding my breath. What are you holding my breath for?
All right. Well, Joe Hartmore played for him, they're a big club. No,
they used to be a real thorn in our side in the 80s in cup games. They used to beat us quite a lot down at the old Gay Meadow.
I want to ask you both a question, right? It's a bit removed from this because you're both feeling quite confident. So that's fine. We'll park that until the end of the show. We'll see if Cookie can downplay the confidence. But obviously this week, Norwich announced some grounds of their training facilities. Neither of you on the podcast this Sunday, so I'm going to ask you this both now. Brentford binned their academy, got a B team instead. Served them well. Norwich are obviously making strides that are light years ahead of Ipswich Town in terms of player development. Do you think the academy is still worth progressing in light of this news? I'll start with you, Matt, because you're the one that brought the story to the WhatsApp group. So what do you think of it?
I read that with a little bit of horror because they're trying to it's almost like they're trying to replicate St George's Park. So they've got all this kind of like, sort of water treatment areas and pools and all that kind of thing, which is, we always say that Ipswich, Woodbridge have got a really good facility, but this is just, as you said, Martin, this is light years ahead of what Ipswich have got. And this is one of the issues we're going to have now if we continue with an academy, because if you're a kid from East Anglia with no affiliation to either club, you're going to tour Ipswich, you're going to tour Norwich, you're going to go, I'm going to go to Norwich City because it's got the best facility, which then led me down the path of, people, they were talking about in the Athletic this week that Brentford no longer had their academy. Now I think they're 5 years removed from having it. And we've mentioned that a few times on here before. And, I've been a little bit flippant about things, saying, no, I don't care if kids come through this club. Just get us out of League One, whoever it might be. It could be, just 11 good players. I don't care if you come through the academy particularly. Just get us out of this current tier. But it does make you think, what is the point of the academy when you've got that on your doorstep? Because we can't compete with it at the moment. So what kids would come to Ipswich? The kids in Norwich don't want?
Exactly, Richard Moss. You're a big proponent of the academy system. You're a bit like the GOAT in that respect. Who asked what's happened to Liam Gibbs? Even if you were to attract a young, lovely glass of red wine there, Matthew. That is very sophisticated, absolutely stunning.
Thanks.
You look like a Bond villain. Just telling them to bin the youth while drinking a glass of Merlot.
Bin them.
You're a big proponent of it. The GOAT is, but even if you got the young players at say 10 to 12 years old, there's nothing stopping them at 18 now. Also, like Liam Gibbs, sort of drifting over. So where are you on it?
Well, look, at the minute how many academy lads are really going to make the breakthrough at Town at the minute? We got Baggett, haven't we?
Big zero.
He's been spoken about. I know you got El Mazzuni around the squad.
Humphreys,
it's about quality of player coming through, isn't it? Look, Norwich are on a different level when it comes to the academy. Look at the players they've been producing over the last few years, and it is like Liam Gibbs. We had Ben Knight. Anyone any good, they'll just get hoovered up by the bigger fish, won't they? Yeah. It's just how it is. Archie's actually played there at the Norwich Training Centre, and one of my mates went there when they played, and he said it's fantastic. I don't know. It's a hard one. We all want youth coming through in the team.
What would you do?
Our own players, but if they're not good enough, it wouldn't bother me if we knocked it on the head and got rid of it. It really wouldn't.
Wow, that's big words. And I was going to ask you that, and that surprised me a little bit because I thought yourself to go.
We've not produced. I know. Look, we had Flynn Downs, we had Andre, we made a bit of money, but we've not made. Connor Wickham was the last player we sold, and that was what 10, 11 years ago.
Bailey Clements.
Oh, go. Is Matt his agent or something? Because he keeps banging that drum, isn't it?
Well, no, leave Matt alone because he also voted for me as writer of the year.
Yeah,
I mean, that would
great column this week. Great column, but fuck me, you went early with it, didn't you?
It's Monday.
I sent
he's out on the Monday. It's normally out on the Thursday.
I know.
He was so angered. He wrote it Sunday.
I wrote it with steam. Can you imagine if I got writer of the year?
People read it, did you say? Over 5,000?
Yeah, well, it was most read sports story. It was 5 times the traffic. So, can you imagine the lemons if I won writer of the year? I can't even spell conference right on a Twitter advert. I saw that. If you didn't see it, I did. Anyway, what would you do? Thank you. As we round up this little bit, but what would you do, Crunch, if they said to you, we want to sign Archie? You bleed Town. You cut you in half, and you're a Town fan through and through. You own the club shop by now, surely, with shares, the amount of merchandise you purchase. What if they said to you, we want Archie?
I get that.
What would you do?
I get that, but it wouldn't bother me if Norwich come in for him. It really wouldn't. Look, you've got Dr. Zach King says Zanzibar. Look, he came on the other night in the Papa John's.
Thank you.
But is he really, like Cookie said, I think it was today or after that game, and he said, like, the last season, these players were elevated too quickly, weren't they? Yes. They weren't ready for the first team football, and they have to be ready, Martin, to come in. And with the takeover that we've had now, if we get out of this league this season, I know it's a bit of a stretch at the minute, and we'll probably go into that, but is there anyone who can come into that team next season who'd make the step up? No, because the higher the level you go, the higher. Yeah. But then we can attract better players if we get into a higher league. I do understand that, Oh, here he is. Flip-flopping.
Blame it on the weatherman. Talking about players that are maybe playing, Wes Burns has been doing the rounds again, Matt. This is a player that a couple of weeks ago said Town are good enough to win the league. He is now saying let's hope to take 6 points from the next 2 games. Classic Town player come down. How good's Wes Burns been? We're talking about players not making the cut. This is a player brought in. How good's he been since he arrived?
I think he's been great for us. I know you're on the fence on this one, aren't you? You're not too sure. You think he's the weaker one out of that 3, aren't you? Behind the striker?
I do. Yeah, I do.
But a lot of the goals have come from good play from Wes and that run down the right flank and getting the ball in. And Bonds always seems to be there at the far post. You saw it again Tuesday, didn't you? But it was just was it KVY put it in for Piggott? That's obviously something we've been training on, isn't it? It's that ball to the far post from the right side of the pitch.
Jackson.
Oh, Jackson was it?
Yeah, it's Jackson. Yeah, you were asleep, weren't you? Did you watch?
I was. Listen, I'm through that competition. I was taking that competition seriously.
Hang on, you wanted to go to Wembley.
He's not going now.
You
If we
know?
get to Wembley, he's not going. You're done with it.
What?
Listen,
You're
I've
done
done
with
about
it.
50 quid on that competition with screen, and I've been asleep for about 40 quid's worth.
It's true. It's true.
I was all in. I was all in. Up to the point when we lost to Exeter. Do you remember? On that Saturday.
Oh, dear.
Like, I thought we were going to Wembley that year, but there we go. But this was going to be my. If I was on the show Sunday, which I'm not, obviously, but this would have been my goats. Do you know what I mean? Why do they persist with a competition that no one goes to?
Exactly what I was on.
I don't get it.
I know. It's ridiculous.
Did you see how many Leicester fans went to the Accrington game? 8.
Negative number.
Wasn't it?
Double fingers on my finger.
Yeah.
8.
For Norwich fans, it's nearly one whole hand. So I agree with you both. But look, Matt was done with the competition.
Just to clarify, so it's on record. If we do get to Wembley,
He's not going.
I'm bloody there. I'm jumping on the bandwagon. I'm going to be there.
We got minibus going.
Talking Sam minibus. He was done, Rich, with the competition the last time he drank Merlot and Arsenal kids beat us. And that's the last time he came on the show.
That was a classic.
I've had some loads, haven't I? We've lost to West Ham Ball Boys. And we lost to
West Ham Ball Boys.
And we lost to a geography class from London called Arsenal Under 21. Which
Probably get rolled over by the old stagers from Cole U, wouldn't they?
So, yeah, Luke
I'm
Chambers
down for
winner.
that, if they play their full strength team, I'm down for that because
He's captain tonight. He's
Cookie
skipper
versus
tonight.
Lambert, isn't it? Yeah.
There we go. Dr. Zach King. Burns has been excellent. Great assist. Loved his goal too. To me, he feels part of a stable team. Chris McBain, focus on the third team until we get the championship. Youth team has to be a future endeavour.
I think he's been good for us. I don't get why you think he's been a weak link. I don't get it.
As I said before, clarified it. It's not that he's weak. It's that the player I think behind him, sort of Edwards, is a better player. It's not that Burns is poor. It's that I think he's perfectly fine.
I think
Edwards plays left, right?
I'd do some more jigsaw moving.
Wow, Christian West Brom told you only play Edwards left.
Yeah, well,
right.
Chris is.
I think Burns will be more consistent, Matt, over the season.
He's a good player. I think it was. I think probably about halfway through last season. Do you remember Craig used to come on the show and he said that number 7 at Fleetwood's really good, and we looked him up. Yeah. Oh, the guy called Burns. We ended up signing him. So he was obviously turning heads back then, wasn't he?
So he's now claiming credit for Burns, right? A player you've also claimed credit for, Rich, is Hadladki. Now we've heard from Cookie today. He says Christian's been back on the grass this week, so he's progressed really well. I would suggest I might be wrong.
They're back on the grass.
Yeah, I know.
I love it.
I wonder what Callie thinks. And I would suggest, and I might be wrong, possibly available for next weekend. So my question to you, Richard Moss, Hadladki versus Walton. It's not Fury versus Wilder. It's Hadladki versus Walton. Who's the number one when Walton is fully fit?
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because
Hadladki
came in, didn't really shine, did it? He's played better since he's come in. But saying that, I still think he should have saved that second goal last Saturday at Akron. It's gone straight through him. Personally, I think if Walton's fit, Walton will come back in and he'll be Cookie's number one. Because why has he signed him otherwise?
But is he your number one? Like, would you do that if you were Paul Cook? Would you? Because I like as you say, he's come back.
I want a stable number one. I don't want to get. I said the other week, I don't want to get into that situation where you had your Will Norris, Thomas Holy situation where play a few games, change your goalkeeper, he comes in for a bit, he plays all right, then he has a couple of dodgy games, then he's back out. Just pick one keeper and stick to it. And if that's Walton, and it's a bit harsh on the lad because he's done all right the last few games, so be it. I don't want to keep chopping and changing. I'm going Christian Walton.
Already, Rich. I think we're there already. Just bring in Walton and then get. It was the worst case scenario, wasn't it? They brought in Walton. He makes his debut. He's let in 5 at Portman Road. Okay, not all his own fault, but it's still, it's still against his name. Then he gets injured. Then Hadladki comes back. Hadladki's done pretty well. He actually looks a different keeper now, I think, in the games that I've seen. He looks a much more confident player. I think we're already in that Holy Norris situation. Flip a coin. Because there's no evidence to suggest Walton should get his place back. He let in 5 goals.
Good point. Exactly. And also, maybe the rocket Hadladki needed to sort of, I mean, we all know it was the GOAT, wasn't it?
Where he makes a mistake and he's taken out and Walton's back in.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Walton was really good, he'd have made more than 3 appearances for Brighton, a club that's smaller than us, by the way. Just in terms of status at the moment, they have just happened to be in the Premier League, but he's not made the grade there. for whatever reason.
As I said, you two bring the hard truth, whether we want to hear it or we don't. Dr. Zach King, the grass therapy for whichever muscle he twanged, which it was a stomach. It was a P, starts with a P, an A, an abductor. I don't know what I was thinking of. I think he will come back in some. That's the beer. Some stage, but hats off to lad. He's looking way more than we thought he would. Matt, I've got another injury question for you because obviously Coulson as well is nearing return. And Cook said this: if I'm not mistaken, Hayden will start coming into the reckoning from next week. I think he's progressing really well behind the scenes, and hopefully after this weekend, I'm sure he'll be looking to get on the grass and join back with the first team. So fingers crossed for Hayden. So same thing to you: Coulson versus Penny on the undercard. Who's our left back from next week?
Oh, well, this is a round one knockout. There's no contest there, is it? Get Coulson back in as soon as we can. He's just a much better all-round player than he's a tougher tackler than Penny. He's better going forward. He can stick a cross in. Penny's done okay, but he doesn't seem to be able to put the ball into the box for me.
Matt, Rich?
Well, actually, his dad was on. He was giving it large last night, Matt, because obviously he's a big Geordie fan, isn't he?
Yes.
So obviously he was happy with the Newcastle takeover. Look,
Hayden
Coulson, head and shoulders above Matt Penny, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
It's a no contest. If he's fit next Saturday for Cambridge, he comes straight back into the team.
You know what I'm doing at some point when I get a spare 10 minutes, don't you? I'm clipping up Ben Moore's Penny 4 just so we can play Penny. What do you think, Ben? 4. It's like...
Do you remember when, 4, yeah, that's harsh, that one.
4.
Even we looked at each other, didn't we, behind the camera going, really?
What? Love you, Ben. The Ben Moore derby. But no, I think you're both right. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, we'll move on from there. Nice and easy. I thought we'd warm ourselves up.
The other injured player. Do you want to talk about the other injured player?
Is there one?
Well,
John Nolan.
Oh.
You think I'm going to waste my time talking to John back?
Is he still in the club?
Listen, I told you what all about John Nolan in the summer when people were saying that Cookie would love him and blah 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 blah. I said all I had to say about John Nolan. You can go back and watch it if you want. It's all there, but I'm not saying not for me. Not for me. I'd rather Colleen Nolan.
What's wrong with him? What's wrong with him now?
Didn't say.
Do you remember they used to ask Lambert injury questions like Cole Skews? How's Cole Skews doing? Don't know. Haven't heard from him. Haven't seen him. Okay, we're just paying him, but okay.
Absolutely. What is a John Nolan? As I keep asking people. I mean, I'm on a T-shirt.
One of the questions we asked on our first ever show. Yeah.
Hey, John Nolan. I keep asking that question because people go, "He's a tough tackler," and then I'll start playing the whole Jonathan Frakes. No, that was fake.
Mark Dowling's a big fan of John Nolan.
Is he?
Yeah. Is he really?
Yeah.
The
That's a bit harsh.
No, he's now going into Emery Hughes territory, isn't he? In that we've
Where is he? He's still not got a club, Matt.
I think Matt Stenhouse, he would just message you. Great minds, Matt. Yeah, where's he got? Exactly. Yeah.
Bod the Nod, new name. Love that. Bod the Nod. I like Burns. You feel like something might happen when he's. I'm gonna read it how I think Bod the Nod sounds. I like Burns. I feel like something might happen when he's one-on-one with the defender out wide. Less effective cutting inside, in my opinion. Stick with Haladki for now. He's upped his game.
Burns had a really good chance, didn't he, at Accrington last week, where he cut in and he overhit. That's the only thing I would say is wrong with his game, is that sometimes he's got a really heavy touch on the control and he ended up sticking it over the bar. That was a really good chance. We could have got a draw at Accrington. That'd have been a result, wouldn't it?
Big Duncan Pharaoh. John Nolan, like Rice Krispies, snap, crackle and pop. Joe Cook, John Nolan, we're out the door by January. John Who, says Colin Plum. Right. Crunch, we signed a new player. His name is, please, for a reference.
Is it Yeti?
Yeti. Well, I'm asking you for the answer. I'm not.
He's Australian. He's Australian. I was reading Cook's never seen him play.
Exactly. This is what I'm going to say. So Cook says this. I'd love to be able to tell you that I'd watched him play 4 times. I really liked him. I thought I'd bring him in. I think that credit goes over to CEO Mark Ashton, the recruitment guys, Andy Costin at our football club. He's obviously got a relationship with a couple of the Australian agents. The boy was obviously looked at. He's got really good qualities. Certainly his physique is outstanding. He can handle a football, and he seems to have an eye for a goal. He looks to be a really positive signing on everyone's behalf at the club. So my question to you, Rich, is exposed. Is this the new recruitment model of Ipswich Town Football Club, moving from the dark ages to the new era and a new way of running a football club in terms of stats, data, not manager-driven, more CEO, player recruitment? Dare I say, the Brentford and Watford model?
We've not had many Australians play for Town, have we?
No. Tommy Orr.
I can't remember what I was listening, Matt, the other day. I think it was Radio 5, and they were on about Australians in general. Oh, no, it was Dara's podcast in the week. Who's the lad? Tim Cahill.
Who's the lad?
Stan Lazaridis.
There was a lad on loan from Spurs, Luongo. He was Australian, wasn't he?
Luongo.
Yeah, he was. There's two.
This lad, I'll go out on a limb now, Martin, and say he won't play a league game for Town.
No, but does it expose a newer way of recruiting than what we're used to? Because many people are Falami.
It's like many people this podcast going on it.
Many people say if you bring a new manager in, then it'll be a whole new player till over in January, blah blah blah. Not about a manager being removed, but is it a new recruitment model in the sense of the manager doesn't even really see who's being brought in until he's there? Is this now based on
want
stats?
That head coach? You want that head coach role, don't you? With and then he's sort of given. Vlado Bozanovski, he was a good player, Matt. I don't know if you remember him.
No, never heard of him.
Played against Man United when we went 2-1 at Portman Road. Yeah. Go over with Boncho, didn't he?
Patrick Kisnorbo.
Yeah.
Andy Burnell. Andy Burnell, that's a great shout in Coxie there.
We're going to field 11 Australians here. Great
shout. But,
it is the head coach role, though, isn't it? It is more like a head coach.
If you're going down that route, you're there there's your players, you get on with it. But,
and it is though, isn't it? He's not seen him play. He's not seen him play. That surprised me when I read that. When I read those quotes, because we are always been a football club that's traditionally dark, what I'd call dark ages now, where the manager leads the recruitment, leads the drive, picks his players, gives the list. This is a guy he didn't even know existed about 3 weeks ago, and now he's being told here he is. And it's all down to
Aaron Drennan. You actually see him play.
Well, Mick McCarthy thought he was the second coming when he introduced him.
It does worry me slightly, that quote. That's the first time I've heard that quote. Obviously, I've not seen any of Cookie's conference today, so we can hear it fresh tonight. But there's a bit of disconnect there, I think, don't you? Because I mean, if you look, I remember we were talking about sort of recruitment models in Europe and things. One of our first ever shows, and I remember sort of saying Seville. So they've got this huge recruitment model, and the manager will say, "I need a player that's over 6'4", good in the air." Good from set pieces, and they will come and deliver a list of names. But it sounds, has Cook done that? I want someone from who's 6'5", whatever he might be, good in the air, and suddenly they've given in this kid from Australia. I don't know. It sounds like a bit like disconnect to me there a little bit. That's a bit worrying, mate.
Yeah, see, for me, it sounds more like it's Andy Costin, Mark Ashton sat in a room with a dashboard, the world networking globe. They've got agents on the line. They work agents. They work the dashboard, and they come up with a player who. And this may be far-fetched, but who may be on the trajectory to be really good. His agent has brought him in. It's obviously a free or blah, blah, blah. This is more, here's your players, Mr. MK Don's manager, whose name escapes me, work with what you've got instead of a Mick McCarthy.
They're doing quite well. I thought you tipped, you said Liam Manning weren't a lot good, and you got manager of the month today.
Yeah, well, I do chat shit. I mean, I said Raheem Harper played a year. I mean, that's a fucking disaster, wasn't it? The moment we started actually playing competitive football. So we keep quiet on my predictions. And 49.
Do you think Mark Ashton's a big FM manager?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like that, isn't it? That signing. That's what it reminds me of. Computer game.
See Cox's comment there, Matt. He's done a bit of research, and Andy Burnell is David Beckham's PA. He played under John Duncan, I think. Andy Burnell, if you remember, he was a centre back.
Wow.
On the case of recruitment, then we'll move on to the mysterious case of Louis Barry and the loan. Matt, and the question is, once I've read the quote, is what's the actual point? Cook says he's a really aggressive runner with the ball. He can take people on. He's a real threat in the last third, and he's been playing for Villa in a couple of different positions to us. He probably played against West Ham's under-21s when he had a wisdom tooth problem and shouldn't have, and he's probably had a bumpy little start. He'll be fine. He's an outstanding young talent. He's a really good lad, and he's going to be a really good player. Listening to that and knowing what you know now about the previous transfer, Louis Barry, the mysterious case of, what's the actual point? And was he brought in without really Cook knowing what was going on, like the other guy? What do you think?
Maybe. Maybe. It's a weird one, that, isn't it? You must think Villa are a bit annoyed the fact he's not getting any game time. What's the point? Might as well just go back there. You know what I mean? I thought you were going to sort of caveat that Cook quote there by saying he's going to end up being a really good player, just not here.
But what is the because he's looking like he's not, he's not off the bench. When he is off the bench, it's 2 minutes into the game. And I just thought, having listened to what Cook said there about how good he is, but then like sort of, there's always your evidence backs up what backs that up? Well, nothing. He's not on the bench. Then you read the quotes about the other player brought in, and you start to sort of connect dots that maybe don't need connecting, but you start thinking, I do. Well, if you don't know about the Australian kid, did he know about Louis Barry? Or was Louis Barry suddenly at training one morning and he was told, "Oh, you've got a new kid turning up today"? Because does it look like a loan with a point? Is the question.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time he actually played? Burton? He started the game at Burton, didn't he? Have you seen him since? Other than the West Ham 21s game. I don't know.
No, we haven't. Exactly. We saw 2 minutes at home, didn't we? In when we needed a goal, and he brought.
Normally, you bring a loan in because it's filling a gap, isn't it? It feels like we're just doing Villa a favour. Oh, he can just come with us and see how he gets on. It's a bit of a weird one, that one.
It falls into the category of this, like sort of the disconnect that you were sort of referencing a little bit, because it's not alone with a plan.
Was it a case of signing him though before, because they didn't know about Selena, did they? Are you just sort of? Then we got Sonny Aluko, didn't we? Was it a case of we'll get him in and then look? I don't even think he makes the bench tomorrow.
But then Selena's not there. So if he was brought in because Selena was not very well, and that transfer looked dead and buried.
I don't know.
Surely tomorrow you'd be at least off the bench if you were considered in.
I tell you what this could be. This feels like, again, we keep talking. Cook straddles 2 eras, doesn't he? Evans era into the game change era, and then Ashton coming in June. This feels like we're caught between 2 models here. The old Evans era of recruitment, which was like they'd go and scout the players themselves, and then Ashton coming in and saying, well, I've got my dashboard, I've got this whole recruitment idea. It feels like we've just been caught in the middle here a little bit with this one.
I'll put the call out again. If any owners are watching this, please give me a screenshot of Mark Ashton's dashboard. I'm desperate to see what it looks like. I've got visions of it.
When you get new signings in, guys, they're not all going to work out anyway, are they? When you've got that amount of signings coming through the door, 19, there's going to be some who fall by the way. So, and he'll go back in January. I've got no doubt that he'll go back and they'll send him out somewhere else and he'll be playing
and ripping
the
it
second half of the season, which he needs to do, doesn't he?
And doing a Brennan Johnson, and we'll be saying, we had Tyler Eden. Do you remember him under Hurst? That was a loan almost without a point.
He got that. He got that equaliser on the opening day, didn't he?
But he was played, funnily enough. But he was played in the centre midfield, and the whole time at Lincoln, he's played left back. It's like,
weird.
Do we scout these players, or do they try and say which missions? Where do you play, son? Midfield. Okay, no problem. You play midfield.
Someone said to me he was a walking red card, and you're right. It was against Villa, wasn't it? Was it 4-0 against Villa? He got red card.
No, it was the 1-1 game.
Oh, it was 1-0, was it?
Trevor Chalabar scored, didn't he?
First home game of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it second?
I think.
It was in the August.
And then when he scored against Blackburn, didn't he, with the cross that went straight in.
Okay, we've got a few comments coming in before we move on to the next comment. We've got Mike D. I'd give him another chance. No one grabbed the number 10 role yet. Colin Plum, he should be able to come on and look good against Evans's lot. Jordan crossed out. I think Cook went for as many good players as he could, like we all do on FIFA, and ended up with too many attackers. A bit like Matt Phillips does when he plays FIFA. Probably didn't think we would get Bon and Selena. Roy Clark, I think Barry will definitely be on the bench tomorrow. Ben Moore. Do we think that Cook was really their man with this Australian coming in with maybe no contact with Cook or Ashton? Well, Cook himself doesn't know who the guy was, so possibly not. Colin Plum, should be Roy go. We've got Brandon Carter. The way Cook was praised his cameo Tuesday, I think he'll be on the bench at the very least.
It just looks a bit rubbish. Do you remember when Ancelotti was asked about will Luke Garbutt be coming back to Everton? He was like, who?
Yeah.
It's just that disconnect just looks terrible in press conferences. It looks rubbish. Doesn't reflect good on anybody.
You could have at least said what McCarthy said about Knudsen when he said, we've got this new scouting data. I've watched the videos on him. He looks really good. We thought we'd pursue it. You can at least dress it up a little bit.
There's a line, isn't it? You can dress up, absolutely. Rather than
I don't know. What's his name? Him. Yeah. Yeah. He's a bit like me. I'm a podcaster, Paul. You know what I mean? Next comment. You mentioned all the players there. Large squad. Cook has said, for all these lads, it's how you train, how you play. Macaulay Bonds come in and such taken the jersey. Macaulay's made it impossible to be left out. Macaulay's been one of the big pluses in the team in terms of saying, When I get my chance, I will take it and I will keep it. And that makes it harder for the other strikers at the club to get in. What Joe did Tuesday night is exactly what people should do to stake a claim to say, Gaffer, I'm ready if you need me to play. And that's what we want at our club. We want lads chomping at the bit to say, if I'm selected, I'm ready to play. So I'm going to ask you there, Rich, keeping a large squad happy. We've mentioned a load of names already in the show, but, as George said on last night's show, it's the key to winning games in terms of keeping a large squad happy. Otherwise, how do you get in? Are you surprised we haven't seen a 4-4-2 at any point with the options? There's two questions there. How do you keep a large squad happy? And are you surprised with the options of Piggott, Norwood, Jackson, and Bond? We've not seen
he did play Bond and Piggott together against Cheltenham, didn't he?
But not in a traditional 4-4-2, as Mike Bacon was asking. It was more of a...
Well, Piggott was drifting left, and he was sort of... Which isn't his game. It isn't his game. Look, I know you'd like to see him in a 2. A lot of people would. But Mike Bacon's comment about 4-4-2, who plays 4-4-2 nowadays?
Mike Bassett.
I think Burnley do. Burnley play 2 strikers. No, not many teams play that.
Matt, are you there?
Oh, back.
Is he?
Oh, man.
He's there.
He's back. Real front.
I wasn't sure if I'd frozen or you'd frozen or Matt. So I was like, Matt, are you there?
We all froze momentarily.
Come on, Rich, over to you.
It is, you've got to keep them all happy. And I know, like, that game the other night, it's got minutes in their legs. And Piggott will get his chance somewhere along the line this season, because Bond, he's on fire at the minute, but no one knows about loss of form. He could get injured. Yeah. He could even get recalled in January, because we do need to realise that he's not our player. And if you are a struggling championship team in the window in January looking for a goal scorer, they're going to be thinking, that Macaulay Bond, he's available. It wouldn't surprise me if someone signed him in January.
I think we'll try and sign him in January. But, I mean, there's 4 players ahead of Bond at QPR. I'd be really surprised if they recalled him. I'd be really surprised.
But I think another championship team will come in for him, Matt.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
The way it's going at the minute.
They'll probably try and operate the way we did with Kiefer Moore, recall and sell. But what I'm asking really is, he says there about players chomping at the bit when you do come in and show what you can do. Chaplin then. If you get Piggott, Chaplin came in on Tuesday, did what he had to do. You can say it was England's under 12s all you like. He still did what he had to do with the team in front of him. If he doesn't start tomorrow, does it make it harder to keep saying, if you keep taking your chances, you will get rewarded?
Did he say today? Did he say about he expects to play, didn't he? I think Chaplin. I think he plays tomorrow.
Do you?
He's done more than Kyle Edwards, I think. He scored the goal the other night. He scored the goal against Sheffield Wednesday.
So where's he played? Are you going to stick him in 10?
I think he plays 10 and Fraser plays left. I just think that's what he'll do.
It's a weird one, that, isn't it, really?
It is a weird one, I agree.
Again, like you just said, have we got too many attacking options? Because now you're sticking square pegs in round holes, aren't you? Because Fraser wants to play 10, really. And look how good we were.
Fraser drifts in. He does drift into them little sort of holes, doesn't he? He always finds, especially at home. I'm thinking a little bit at the minute. Fraser, he didn't really show up last Saturday, did? Well, he wasn't the only one. But away from home, he's been a bit of a passenger for me in some games. So... Yeah, look, he's the best number 10 in the league on stats over the last couple of years, but that's just so Ipswich, isn't it? To sign a number 10 and then never play. But that's a position that really at the minute, the 10, that's still up for grabs, isn't it? It's no one's really come in and shone so far. And it's like going forward, will it be Selena in there? Will it be Chaplin in there? Will it be Fraser in there? I do agree with Matt. You've probably got too many options at Louis Barry, another one who can play in there. We've
got too many options. He keeps going to the same options. Is that one of the issues?
Absolutely. And that leads me to my next point, because obviously my article this week was 5 times the traffic, most read story. I said, Lambert said, put bluntly, I don't care how manager Paul Cook and coaches Franz Jeffers and Gary Roberts do it, but somehow they simply must improve and speed up their process of making in-game adjustments and changes. Now, you're talking about pre-game changes, but Cottrell, Shrewsbury, whichever you want to say it, said this today. I think we have an idea of their team, and it won't change dramatically, even though they have lots of players, because Paul Cook has already been through that and made changes. We could probably guess 8 or 9 of their players, and we have to work on that theory of what we think their team will be. First and foremost, you have to work on strengths and weaknesses all around the pitch. The lads will know every player's strengths and weakness. To me, that's an opposition manager basically saying you are a book and we can read you. You two have both just sat and said how many options we've got, but we've got a belligerent, in my opinion, manager. How does an opposition manager saying those things sort of sit with you in terms of if he already knows?
Yeah, I mean, Cottrell's one of those kind of characters, really. He's not too far removed from Steve Evans, in all honesty, in terms of his attitude and things and reputation in the game. They'd have been scouting us for the last month anyway. So, I'd take that with a pinch of salt of what you're saying now. But look, if we could try and work out what the team is as fans, I'm pretty certain people that are paid as the job as League One coaching staff could do it too.
But is that the option? Is that the problem here? You've got all these options. You've got the chance to play a 2 up front in whatever formation. You've got the chance to play a 5 midfield or a 3 or a 7 or whatever. A Mike Brown Christmas tree.
Predictable. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, you're too predictable. And even though you've got all these changes, Cottrell's still saying it's Paul Cook. It'll be 4-2-3-1.
Liverpool played the same way. Man City played the same way, mate. I don't see them changing it much. Man City play without a striker. I know they're better players than we.
And they're struggling at the moment without a striker, aren't they? They are struggling.
Ben Moore in the chat there. Is he taking Burns out of his team tomorrow? Because he's got Chaplin, Fraser and Edwards playing. And I'm thinking, Ben, no wonder you're on minus 250 during Fantasy League if you're doing that. Do
you remember in Portsmouth were like flying high, I think, in the Championship? They drew, under Harry and Jim Smith, they drew Man United in the FA Cup. And they were doing their interview and they said, oh, have you been scouting Man United, Harry? He goes, what's the bloody point? We know what Ronaldo's going to do. We know what Beckham's going to do. We know exactly what their team's going to be. There's a little bit of that in Ipswich, I think, and Paul Cook. I wouldn't read too much into it. It's how our players actually perform on the day, playing the tactics and the formation that Cook wants. Because we've seen highs and lows, haven't we? We saw the highs against Doncaster. We saw the lows against Accrington.
Great points. But what I'd say back to that is Wes Burns is not David Beckham and Lee Evans is not Paul Scholes. So we're not ripping anything up in terms of 4-2-3-1. Would it kill the team?
We're fourth top scorers in the league. I think
we're 19th in the league.
Saying it's not working, but we're banging in goals. We've scored in every single game.
Yeah, but we don't go up on goal difference.
We said that last season, Martin, sitting here after watching 6 0-0 draws. We'd have taken that.
Don't. I hate this.
We're scoring every game. The football's better. It's more enjoyable, and I know it comes down to results. We win tomorrow, we'll go up 5 places, and we'll be 6 points off the playoffs.
What I was going to say was, would it have hurt us to look at Shrewsbury? Look at his Steve Cottrell was saying strengths and weaknesses. But what if you've watched Shrewsbury and think they're struggling against a 5-4-1? When do we, despite saying yes, we've got the best players in the league, say, well, our plan A isn't working? So what's their weakness? How do we exploit their weakness to make them change in the first 10, and then we can try and bring our 4-2-3-1?
Why did it work so well for Cook when he was at Portsmouth playing this system? Why did it work so well when he was at Chesterfield? Why did it work so well when he was playing at Wigan? Yeah. And he had Wigan the second half of the season. They were in the top 2, so it must have worked for him there.
Yeah. And he won trophies at all of those clubs.
People will say to you, though, there's one ingredient missing, and he is currently running away.
He was never coming. That's not even worth talking about, Martin, because Liam Richardson was never, ever coming here because he was already employed, and so were all the other coaches that Cook had with him. And people need to get over that because he was never coming here, Liam Richardson. We couldn't get him.
All right, no, I'm. Hey, this is not the show for me to give an opinion. It's the show for me to ask you to. I'm just giving.
I'm just saying. If people are saying, "Oh, we should have got Richardson,"
don't shoot me.
We couldn't get him.
I have to say, I did expect Richardson to come. It was only until Barry from Wigan told us, well, actually, he's probably going to get the gig here, and he doesn't want to move south. That's only something things about. Oh, maybe.
I suppose, mate, when we don't know Richardson what he was thinking when he took over there, he was temporary manager. It was probably he'd always been a number 2. Because a lot of people, they're just a number 2, aren't they? They try management. I remember Terry Connor. Do you remember TC when Mick got the sack at Wolves? TC went in, and I think they lose 6 games on the bounce?
Yeah.
But Liam Richardson's obviously done well, and he wants to go out on his own, which is fair play to him, and he's doing a great job.
A good fit for the club, obviously.
Yeah.
The classic town luck. We fell the wrong side of ITV Digital. We've fallen the wrong side of Wigan being taken over and not getting relegated. Because I bet you anyone you like, had Wigan not got the takeover and or been relegated, I do think he would have said, you know what, probably. I'm going to follow. But he got the takeover like we did, and they stayed up, and he got told the same way Cook did. You've got this opportunity, and he thought, well, no, it's my turn to be the number one, and he took it. And why would you not? You know,
well, yeah. Well, it shows ambition, doesn't it? It's a fair play to him. Good luck to him. I do feel like we're going to fall away at some point because if you look at their points per game, they're going to be over 100 points. I can't see that happening.
Mike Brown, why are you so negative? People like you, it's as if he wants to be proved right that Cook's not the man for the job. Just have a bit of positivity, like Tuck said last night. Yeah. So fucking predictable every week with your Cook bashing. Boring.
All right, leave the Mike Brown. Just, don't poke the bear for a little bit. You two can have your
respect, Mike. Respect. You're always going about respect.
You two can have your tiff offline. We'll just slip by this little comment.
We'll come in the morning. Don't worry.
I know you will. You two in the voice message. We'll come straight to Prediction League. You can play this week's Prediction League. Got Town versus Shrewsbury, Morecambe versus Cambridge, Town Women's versus MK Dons, and Southend versus Chesterfield.
Martin, there is an example of there's always someone worse off than yourself. See, I think the relegation zone of the conference are crying out loud.
Did you see him? Yeah. Did you see him swearing on the Zoom call?
Yeah, I saw Ron Martin, their chairman, go out and try and appease the fans. They told him to do.
He was on the Zoom call last night with some fans, and I think he told one of them to fuck off or something.
Oh God!
But that's a mess, isn't it? There.
Yeah.
They've always remember that. Going back when I was younger, and he's been there a long time, hasn't he? As chairman.
Good. Yeah, I think he's a good friend of Sheepshanks, And
he promised them a new ground. I remember they were on about, we're going to move from Roots Hall. They had great plans and.
Yeah, it's never happened.
They should be going down. They're really, really struggling. Did you see the fire today, Andorra, by the way?
No, I didn't. The Prediction League link is in the chat. You can play now. The wild card this week, just to finish that off, is Andorra versus England. League table is as followed: Mike Woods, Ross Smith, Trevor, Taylor Paul, and Paul Birchnell all in the top.
On there now. I must be on there now.
You are on there.
You're on there. Don't worry. You've got your own page.
He knows. But yes, don't forget. You've got to be inside the top 10 come the 30th of October to be entered into a prize draw to win Football Manager 2022. That is 4 weeks away from tomorrow. If we have a situation like now where we have multiple top 10 because of the 9-point situation, you'll all be entered if you are equal points.
Look at Taylor in the top 4 there. Rocking it.
Ian Houston started playing about 3 weeks ago. Look at him there. Look, already rocking up the table. Huey Stannard.
I'll be in that top 10, I reckon.
Well, this is page number 2.
Yeah.
And this is page number 3.
Where's Mike Brown on there? Where's Mike Brown on there? Because he said he's been doing it every week.
And when you get a point, I'll spell your name right.
Oh, don't disrespect me.
Don't shush. Mike Brown is on there. And don't forget, these are missing last week's wildcard points. They will be added on for Sunday's show. So people like Ben King, you have got more points than it's showing here. Right.
So that's Joe's 50th game in charge of the women on Sunday. He's got a great record. I think 38 wins, and they've scored something like 120 odd goals.
100 goals.
Yeah. They're a really good team. Right, let's round off the press conference reaction with Cookie's thoughts ahead of tomorrow's game against Shrewsbury. We've got this. Paul Cook said, we've got really good options. I love Mike Brown. He's a legend. I think, no, he didn't really say that. He said, we've got really good options. I think after disappointing performance are accurate, and it's really hard to make changes because if you leave 1 or 2 out, it's like you're blaming 1 or 2 for the team performance. Obviously, with Bursant going on international duty, we have a clear option to make 1 change. We know the team. The team's already known, and we'll go and work as hard as we can. The brutal reality for us all is that the season is long for everyone, and squad depth is so important. So tomorrow, give me your sort of 11s if you like. You've heard Cookie's comments there, but your own thoughts. What do you think the 11 is going to be? And that one, will it be 1 change, or will he make more than 1? Is he playing a bit of mind games there with Cottrell?
I've seen a few people on social media having. I know El Mazzuni had a good game the other night, taking him and putting him in instead of Lee Evans. And I'm thinking, Lee Evans scored a hat-trick the last home game. It's like, some of our fans, I think,
short memory. It's NFL, not for long. It's not for long, mate. It's not, it's what have you done for me lately, League? Really, it really is.
I think the only change is going to be in that, who's going to play on that, either that 10 or on the left side, isn't it? That's which we just alluded to then. Do you start... See, the thing with Edwards is he starts off well, doesn't he? And then he kind of fades a little bit. So you just bring him on as an impact player. So maybe you do start with Chaplin in a 10 and Fraser on the left, and then you've got the luxury of Edwards or Barry or whoever it might be to come off from the bench.
But you mentioned people not rating players for long. Is he not somebody who, again, people are sort of souring on a little bit too early because he played? Yeah. He had a debut, really good. But he's not really had a consistent run of games, which players always crave and always love.
Isn't it? It's too stop and start. I get. Look, it goes back to how the show panned out last week on last Sunday, when we really are judging people far too early when we're just like 10 games in of a 46-game season. So we've just got to give people a little bit of time. Maybe start with Edwards tomorrow, see how he goes, or bring him off the bench, see how he goes. People are getting too het up per game. You know, the highs of Doncaster, the lows of Accrington.
I did say after the game, the Doncaster game, Colin was saying, and even you were saying, that's a championship performance. I said, don't get too high when we win.
Well, exactly.
Don't get too low when we lose. Because tomorrow, if we win 2 or 3-0 tomorrow, Matt, you were right. Everyone will be cartwheeling after the game and dick waving.
Yeah. The problem is with there's too much space between how we celebrate a win and the loss. It's absolute canyons, isn't it? But I did feel like, and it probably was to do with the fact that Doncaster didn't really show up and aren't very good at the moment. It did look like we did look like a championship side, and we came crashing down to earth. But both results, as I said on last Sunday, for me, both results were huge surprises. No one expected to win 6-0 against Doncaster, and we didn't really expect to lose 2-1 at Accrington.
Yep, there you go. You see, I just laugh at the cartwheel comment because I ain't going to be cartwheeling anywhere. But I just think you're talking about sports in general. All sports fans, from basketball to American football to baseball to rounders to golf, when you win, you're the best thing since sliced bread.
But it's social media, isn't it? It is social media nowadays because it wasn't there. It wasn't there back in like Colin's day, and but now it is all too easy.
Everyone's emotionally invested in the club. We are. I've said before, you cut us free, we're blue and white, aren't we? But sometimes I feel like Ipswich fans are too emotionally invested. Like their whole life depends upon that result.
Mine does. Marcus Stewart's does. If you haven't seen his video.
I do feel like, something I alluded to last Sunday was that, is it the end of the world if we just find our feet this season? Yeah. All these players are under contract. There's not many players that are out of contract at the end of the season. I think Aluko's maybe got a year deal, maybe a couple of others, maybe. It's not the end of the world if we don't go up this season. We're on a financially good footing. We've got a good manager, in my opinion, and Rich's opinion. I don't know about anybody else's opinion. I feel we've got a good manager.
Not mine.
And I feel like, we're building foundations. Be patient.
Yeah, but you still want a top 10 finish.
But then if we do go up and we don't have a very good... we don't... No, my fridge is just open.
I know, with a little head coming past. Love it. Absolutely love it. Tell you what, while Lizzie does that, Cruncher, have you fed the hostage?
Hi, Marcus Stewart here. So subscribe to Talking Town, search for Home Dressing Room on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and enjoy the content. Simples.
Have you fed the hostage today, Cruncher?
Yeah, he's all right. I've fed him. I let him out for a walk around the garden.
But don't you remember over a year ago, it was just us three broadcasting to ourselves. Apparently, according to the forum experts.
Well,
if you love that video, just wait to see what I've got lined up for the next one.
The Cruncher's been busy this week, everybody. Very busy.
But I don't know if he was one of our trolls or not, but when he did say about a hostage, that did make me laugh on Twitter.
Maybe chuckle. I did have a little laugh.
That was funny. That was really quite funny.
Read this, Marcus.
Hang on. He's got 138 followers. Yeah, in the bin.
Absolutely.
Going back to what we were just talking about, Mine, would you take a year just to find our feet with this squad?
It's not quite as easy as that, is it? Because you've got to set clear parameters. For me, if you said we finish inside the top 7 and don't go up, that's okay. That's fine. We've made progress. We're a top 7 side. As you've said, a number of players are under long-term contracts. Finishing anything less than 7th upwards is an absolute disaster for this football club because it is built on the budget for instant success.
Yes,
it's not built because otherwise you would have kept your Flynn Downses, your better players of last year, sprinkled in some players with a smaller budget, and then the summer coming up next year brought a few more, then shipped Downs out and co. Yeah. But it's not been built little by little. It's been built with we're going for it this year. You know what I mean? So I get what you're both saying.
So it's built with just you say like that. So give them a bit of time.
He's had the time, my friend. That's my opinion.
I'm saying this team have played 10 games together, and we talked about Kyle Edwards there, Matt. He's not had enough games. There's a lot of players that haven't had enough game time, and they're still finding their feet.
You're right. The problem is we have not put they call in the States clutch results together. We've not put a run of 2, 3, 4 results together, which would soon get you climbing up this table very, very quickly.
Does that count tomorrow if we win back-to-back wins, Martin?
Well, they're trying to in the media. I noticed trying to force that back-to-back victory narrative.
The EFL trophy is not regarded as a first.
I'm not counting it.
Vince Morsey was allowed to play in it when suspended. Yeah.
All I would
these
say
are a big 5 games. This month, I think, is a big month for Cook.
Well, we said Sunday, didn't we? It is big.
Yeah, I think you need to go unbeaten through it, Matt. I really do.
Yeah.
10 points, 10 points minimum.
If we come out of October with not a very good points haul, then I do worry for Cook. And that comes from us two, Rich, as big Cook fans.
I agree.
I think you've got to enter this next 4-game period with a minimum points return, and the moment you can't achieve it, you've got to act. That's my opinion, but I'm not an owner. What I would say is I like Paul Cook, the man. I want Paul Cook, the man, who's gone through some similar stuff that I've gone through, come into a situation where it was a load of dead wood, and it was worse than having dead worm and whatever you have in a dead forest. But it was a horrible situation. He's cleared it out. He's sort of started, as he said today in the press conference, he started to build expectancy and accountability, and he started to build a club. But at the end of the day, you are judged by points. And my problem with Paul Cook, the manager, is his lack of adaptability and flexibility. And I can't see that ever changing, because Barry and Freddie of 2 previous clubs have said Paul Cook won't change in game. So to me, you're showing no personal development, which means long-term, you're not going to get any better.
But we'd take their success, wouldn't we?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, I'd cut my left nut off for it. But
when you look at the fixture lists, before even the season starts, you do look at October and think to yourself, Shrewsbury, you've got Cambridge, you've got Fleetwood. I mean, it's very winnable. Plymouth. There's very winnable games in there. So I feel like this is real pivotal month for us. It's probably a crossroads month for Cook, Rich. Do you agree? It's a crossroads month for him.
Well, tomorrow's a must-win game, isn't it? It has to be 3 points. 10-5 tomorrow. If we come out of that ground and we've not won the game, we're not going to be happy. And I'm not going to be happy because I'm going there tomorrow expecting Cambridge. Yeah. Cambridge, I think, that's a tricky game down there because it's a sellout, and I don't think we'll fall into the trap. I don't think we'll fall into that trap that we fell into at Accrington, because I think the mindset there was all wrong. I think we just thought we're going to rock up there. We've won 6-0 against Donny. We're just going to roll this lot over, and we got a rude awakening. And I'm hoping that's going to be a wake-up call, because you go down to Cambridge there, it's going to be another small ground, fans close to the pitch. So it's all about mindset. But I think we just need to take one game at a time at the minute.
It's a win-or-learn mentality, isn't it? So we didn't win at Accrington. Okay, so what have we learned from that game? Exactly. And when you go to Cambridge, you're going to be exactly the same kind of conditions. You're absolutely right. Almost like a non-league ground, particularly. Exactly. What have we taken from the Accrington game that we can apply to Cambridge and get points?
Yes, you do not foul. You just have teaching moments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly, and that one of which is the goalie not letting it through his body. But so I'm going to ask you this now. You've got Shrewsbury, Cambridge, and Portsmouth. 3 games. If you worked to a 3-game template, what is your minimum points return you want from you expect from these 3 games?
Yeah.
And if the moment you don't get it, what do you do if you are Brett Johnson, Mark Ashton, Burke Eberkai, and co? Both of you answer that question, Richard, or Matt, whoever goes first. Don't mind.
I think we've seen a glimmer of promotion form, haven't we? We're averaging 2 points a game. It's got to be 2 points a game from those 3. It has to be. So 6 points. Now, whether or not that's a win tomorrow, a win at Cambridge, a defeat at Portsmouth, whatever combination, look at the bigger picture. Whatever combination, it's not the end of the world if we do lose tomorrow. If we get wins away from home, but it has to be 6 points for me. It has to be.
I think that's a bit too low, Rich. What do you think?
I think in the chat there's 7. I think if we took 7, we'd probably be happy, because tomorrow has to be the 2 home games, Fleetwood and tomorrow. They're must win games, so that's 6. Then you got Cambridge. The 3 away games are tricky because Portsmouth had just sort of woke up and they won 4-0 last week. I don't know how that game got finished, Matt, but I don't know if you see it. The pitch was.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of stop you there a moment, because it's League One. Every game's a hard game, and that excuse is not going to cut it anymore because you've slipped up too early. So you've left yourself. And he said himself today in the press conference, the margin for error is small.
It's smaller.
So you've got to win these tough.
If we can win that game tomorrow, if we win that game tomorrow, there's only 3 games tomorrow in the league. If we can win that, we go up 5 places, and then we're 6 points off the playoffs. Then all of a sudden you're looking and thinking that's achievable. But to get up this league, it's no good like winning tomorrow, then drawing at Cambridge, and then losing at Portsmouth, because you're back to square one, and we ain't going to get anywhere like that.
I tell you what, I bought a book this week. It's the new Oldham book about how Joe Royle turned Oldham's fortunes around.
All right.
And that was his first managerial job. And he took a piece of advice from Bill Shankly on board. He said, Bill Shankly used to say to little players, I will give you the best of everything, Monday to Friday. I will give you the best coaching. I'll give you the best training facilities. I will give you the best food and nutrition whilst you're here at Anfield. All I ask for you on a Saturday is that you give me the best of you. And unfortunately, I don't think we've seen the best of our players. Hence the reason why we blew a 1-goal lead at Accrington last week. So for all the flack that we give Paul Cook, a big onus does come onto the players, because Morsey's dropped down from the Championship. Connor Chaplin's dropped down from the Championship. They are on big, big wages. I would imagine their wages dwarfs the entire budget of what Andy Holt can pay at Accrington, or the entire budget that they're paying at Cambridge. So on that Saturday, we know the facilities are semi-decent at Town. We know that that they're setting up the games to try and be as good as they can on the Saturday. Also, the players have to take some responsibility. Are they actually giving up the payment they're giving, the talent they've got? Are they actually giving that return? I'm not sure at the moment, to be honest with you. We saw it against Doncaster. We certainly did not see it against Accrington.
Good point. But we do know Accrington have fantastic changing rooms as well, because Denasian paid for them. We know that. So
yeah, Andy told us, didn't he? On the show?
Yeah, we know that. So we know they're fantastic there as well. Kevin Flavin, new name. Really enjoyable show. You 3, fair play. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Welcome to the dark side of the podcasting world. Yes, look. You may like it, you may not like it, but you're always going to get the truth here. I promise you that. Dr. Zach King, we can win all these though. I like our team. I see ludicrous talent for this league. Fuck it, let's get 9. No one dropped down for less. And last comment, Lewis Robertson. Tuesday night is actually a blessing. Players put themselves in peace these thoughts, and those who were cruising last week could be in for shock come 2 p.m. Right, well, we're done. We are back tomorrow, 1:50. Hello, where are you going? 1:50. That's a different sort of webcam show. 1:50 at the Sir Alf Ramsey statue. Come and join us. Come and watch us if you want to. Come and get involved if you want to. Always a microphone live if you want to share your opinion. Matthew Phillips, you're not with us, sadly, because you are celebrating your good lady's wife.
We're off to Downton Abbey. I'll give Mr. Carson your regards.
Thank you. Please do. And a warm happy birthday to your wife.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Many happy regards. Matthew, what is the score going to be this weekend, please?
I feel like we'll get back to winning ways. I hope we can put in a very similar performance that we did against Doncaster. I'm going to go very similar to what was in August 2019. A 3-0. A 3-0. Okay. Yeah. Rich, you may not make the pre-game show tomorrow, so I will ask you for your...
It kicks off at 11:30 with kids' football. That's a pain in the backside, isn't it?
It's leaving me right up the creek without no paddle. I'll tell you that much.
Well, other people have to step up, I know. Colin will be there. You'll have some others to hold your hand. Vicky's coming to the game tomorrow, I think.
When you've got Neil Moles on holiday in the middle of a season.
Where is he? Where has he gone?
A bloke's missed more games than Emmy Hughes did for Town.
Where's he gone?
Then Tux, yeah.
Tux is at the game tomorrow. He'll be there.
Good stuff.
If you are going to the game, come on over, because I do need you for the pre-game show. Desperate plea. Crunch, score prediction, please. I'm
looking forward to tomorrow. Look, big shout out to Steve Cottrell, because he was really, really ill, wasn't he, with COVID?
Yeah.
So,
still not a fan.
Listen, they're second bottom of the league. They've won 2 games like Town. I know we're only 2 points clear of them, but Shrewsbury at home, it has to be a win. It has to be a win tomorrow. It's got. I'll go 2-0. Comfortable 2-0 victory. Another goal for Bonn. Clean sheet, and then we go on to Cambridge. So
beautiful. Yeah. The goat will be there tomorrow pre-game. You can support us through Ko-Fi, one-off donation, or the monthly contribution. Crunch, how easy is it to set up the monthly contribution?
Well, it's easy. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Exactly.
People are saying that the link, they want the link for the prediction league.
Well, I'm just pressing copy on the bit it gives me, so I'll pop it again. If not, come and see me on. Come and see me on. I will do. Maybe for the last time on a Friday, this has been Talking Town, an FCA finalist. Could be FCA winner this time next week.
Show us that trophy. We'll be shining the trophy this time next week.
I did message Matt Stannon. He doesn't know what the menu is, so I'm not sure if it is the landmine.
I'll have whatever, except shepherd's pie. Can't stand it. I will leave it. No, I'm not really going to leave it. But this is an FCA finalist production. I am the governor. That is the media mogul Matthew Phillips. That is the cruncher Richard Moss. This is Talking Town. Thank you all for watching. See you tomorrow at 1:50 outside the Sir Alf Ramsey statue. I will leave you with a word from our wonderful, wonderful sponsors. Ipswich buses, do not forget, even though the town are at home. I'm about to say they're away. This beer is strong. The town are at home, so get your contactless pass and head in via Ipswich Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. A single £1.20, a return only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich